Hello pilots! I think it's time we continue the Titan saga. With Tone, Monarch and Scorch covered, today we're going to take a look at the only official sniper class Titan in the game, NorthStar. And I say official because there is at least 2 Titans that can do just as well at long ranges. But today is all about NorthStar. According to many, and to my surprise, a lot of you seem to think NorthStar is a low tier Titan. Or at the very least she's the second worst of the game, Scorch being the worst. I can definitely see this. But I think maybe you guys are not giving NorthStar enough credit. And since we're talking about NorthStar, I know, you guys love the most famous NorthStar main ever. But we have a dedicated video about Viper already, so go and check it out. With that out of the way, let's take a look at NorthStar's kits and abilities and find out why people hate NorthStar.
When you try your best but you don't succeed.
NorthStar is a Strider class Titan. Just like Running, NorthStar is optimized to be Running's counterpart. Running is a close range Titan, while NorthStar is the opposite. She's a mid to long range Titan. Her kits and abilities are designed to aid NorthStar at these ranges, and her strategy falls apart pretty quickly once the enemy closes the gap. NorthStar's gameplay is elusive and defensive. A good NorthStar main uses cover like buildings and even teammates to hide their presence. After all, this is all they can do, because NorthStar has a very narrow gameplay path. NorthStar's primary weapon is the plasma railgun, a projectile-based weapon with variable damage that depends on holding ADS to charge. The charge can be held indefinitely before being fired. Fully charged shots cause knockback. The plasma railgun is a very interesting weapon. The damage is drastically different depending on how long you ADS, with pilots and infantry only requiring 1 shot. The plasma railgun is great for targeting Titan's weak spot for a critical hit and massive damage. The damage is great when fully charged, and the range is exceptional. Ideally, you would like to use this weapon at mid to long ranges, but keep in mind this is a projectile based weapon, which means you'll have to account the distance and player's movement in order to land a shot, similar to weapons like the Kraber or the EPG. This weapon is really fun. One-shotting pilots across the map is always satisfying. The damage on Titans is just too good. They blink and 1/3 of their HP is gone. Simply awesome. It is not the strongest Titan weapon in the game, but it fits well with NorthStar's gameplay. This weapon quickly goes from tickles to massive damage depending on the charge level. Overall, a fitting weapon for this Titan and its class. Next, we have the cluster missiles and tether traps. And this is where NorthStar gets a bit weird. NorthStar is the only Titan from the original 6 to not have a shield. Instead, she gets the tether traps, elastic mines that lock Titans down to the ground for a few seconds. Their main function is to stop a Titan in place. This could be used for either stopping an enemy from chasing you or to lock it in place. This somehow works, but the mines have cooldown after being deployed, and they are also visible and destructible. But you can combine them with the cluster missile ability, which is a hive of missiles that explode for about 5 seconds. This ability is great to damage and block the path of enemies. It works better to shoot it at surfaces with multiple targets in the area. It is also great to kill pilots inside buildings, by direct hit or area of effect damage. This damage isn't amazing, but is enough for enemies to try to avoid getting hit. Next, we have Hover. NorthStar is the only Titan in the game that comes close to flying.
Viper's on station. Your journey ends here, pilot. The sky's the
No, not you, Viper. Hover allows NorthStar to levitate briefly across the battlefield. And that's it. That's all the ability does. But of course, any mobility based ability is good, and Hover has multiple uses. Just to name a few, you can get the higher ground by hovering over sections of the map, and get a better view of the battlefield. You can also avoid taking damage from, for example, Scorch's Fire and Running's Arc Wave. And honestly, it is just a great mobility tool. Now look, I know you guys want me to talk about the wonderful Viper's Thruster kit. I know it basically gives you an air dash and it makes you go faster while fly coring enemies. I understand that. And I know there's going to be fights in the comment section about which kit is better, Viper Thrusters or Twin Traps or even Threat Optics. But while you guys do that, I want you to know I can kill an entire enemy team inside a building with enhanced payload, okay? We are not the same. Enhanced payload is just better. Deal with it. And finally, we have Flycore. Flycore is NorthStar's most contradicting ability. Flycore allows you to hover the battlefield, opening her missile pods to unleash fast missiles onto the enemy. These deal very high damage and can kill both a Strider Titan and an Atlas Titan, and even Doom and Ogre class Titan. The problem with this ability is that it doesn't go well with NorthStar's gameplay. In order to use it, you basically have to expose yourself to unleash your attack. But NorthStar can take damage and even be killed while doing it. It goes against the optimal elusive NorthStar gameplay and shall only be used in specific conditions. Sometimes the damage taken and the loss of strategic positioning is really not worth the trade. But hey, sometimes it works in your favor. Some enemies know very well that they have to chase you down, and if you're healthy enough, you can try using your core against them. At that point, your enemies have to decide whether to attack you to finish you off or to take cover. It is a 50-50. Again, with a smart usage, you can mitigate the caveats of this core, but sometimes your core can be denied by enemies dashing in the opposite direction of your missiles, running, or by simply taking cover. It just doesn't go well with the rest of your kits and ability, so make sure to use it wisely. NorthStar is a very fun Titan with engaging gameplay and playstyle. I can totally see why people would dislike the Titan. I mean, who likes a camper, right? Even the most aggressive NorthStar player has to be mindful of cover and escaping routes. Having no shield and only mobility makes NorthStar a tricky Titan. Rushing NorthStar is a valid strategy, but you have to be mindful of her core. That's the only counter she has for close range enemies. She's a hard Titan to master, and situational awareness and quick decision making are needed to know when to engage and disengage. Sometimes it's just better to run away and reposition yourself. That's what tether traps are for, right? As NorthStar, you always have to be in control, because one mistake and your HP and even your Titan could be gone. But that's it for now, pilots. Are you a NorthStar main? I love this Titan. I really like her risky gameplay. She's able to deal insane damage and is great for long range combat. And do you hate NorthStar? Remember to share, like and subscribe. Also, there is only 2 Titans left. Which one should I do next? Ion or Legion? Let me know down in the comments. Thank you for watching.